Hey everybody, how's it going? My name's MJ the Game Boy, and welcome to RatedMJ. And happy Black History Month.
Black History Month. A month for America to reflect on the achievements of African Americans and their contributions towards the world. Or if you're an African American like me, you see it as a middle finger towards your entire heritage and the fact that they gave African Americans the shortest month of the year to have recognition. Like that's supposed to make up for the fact that they enslaved many Africans, separating them from their families, disregarding their basic rights to live in the country after being freed, and killing some of those who spoke out against the injustices towards them. And sadly, not much has changed.
Well, that was quite the mood shift. Don't really know how to transition from here.
Cartridges! Everyone's ever played a video game before should know what the heck these things are. I mean, without them, we wouldn't have some of our greatest gaming moments. They would have never existed. Like, you're telling me that all of this, and this can fit inside this tiny box-like device? I mean, it's witchcraft. It just has to be.
Well, what if I told you that wasn't witchcraft, but instead the incredible combination of science, ingenuity, and creativity?
And what if I told you that it was all from the work of one man who's often forgotten in the gaming industry? Like, seriously, for this man to have the title of father of modern gaming, he sure isn't recognized by most people. Literally, I've asked around, and it seems like nobody's ever heard of him.
So in honor of Black History, I thought we could talk about the man who literally changed the game. The father of modern gaming, Jerry Lawson.
Gerald Anderson Lawson was born on December 1st, 1940 in Brooklyn, New York. His father was a hard-working longshoreman with a passion for science. And this passion seems to run within the family. You see, his grandfather was a trained physicist who worked hard to prove himself within the field. But unfortunately, his career was blocked due to racial discrimination. Something not uncommon back in the day. So he got a job as a postmaster to support his family. So from a very young age, Jerry's parents were very fierce about his learning, wanting to make sure that their son got the best education that he could. His mother enrolled him within a mostly white school where the curriculum was better. However, speaking from experience, I can already tell you that could have had some negative effects on his development. But in the long run, it probably did make him a more resilient person. But to more ensure her son's education as well as equality within schools, his mother became president of the PTA for Public School 50. Often, Jerry's parents would encourage their son to discover and explore science. At a very young age, Lawson was already discovering how certain things work together, inspired by other African-American engineers and inventors like George Washington Carver, who proposed alternative uses for other crops than the use of cotton. As a kid, Lawson was learning to build walkie-talkies. As a teenager, he was building his own ham radio and broadcasting station from his apartment bedroom in Queens, and he would receive work repairing television sets for his neighbors. Basically, he would just tinker, taking things apart, figuring out their purpose, and how they work in combination with other parts. Lawson would soon go on to attend Queens College and the City College of New York. However, he would never receive a degree from either institution. Not that it would matter, as Lawson's engineering skills were based off experience, and he was self-taught. Lawson would go on to work for a few tech projects for the US military, but assignments didn't last long, and neither did Lawson's interest in working on these assignments. Lawson would soon get a contracting job from the company Fairchild. You may have never heard of them, but they were pivotal in the Apollo moon landings, the creation of the integrated circuit, and the silicon conductors. This meant he would have to relocate to Sunnyvale, California. While there, Lawson would join a club of tech heads and nerds who also shared his passion for everything technology, and often showed off their inventions. This was the Homebrew Computer Club. Some of the members in this club would go on to gain notoriety within the tech world, and two names worth mentioning here are Steve Wozniak and Steve Jobs. Both would go on to be the founders of Apple and the iPhone, but I remember one of them as a child-abandoning piece of shit. Attending every session of this club, Lawson would be inspired to create and develop something of his own. During one of the meetings, Lawson would get a chance to talk to a few people from the Syzygy company, like Ted Dabney, Nolan Bushnell, and Alan Alcorn, the father of Pong. They would discuss their game projects with Lawson, and he would offer to help fix some of them. That company would soon go on to become Atari. You may have heard of him. But it was from this troubleshooting of their video games that Lawson knew what kind of project he wanted to tackle next. So you always hear about those big companies like Apple who started off in the garage? Well, Lawson literally did that too.
He worked on a coin-operated video game called Demolition Derby.
This is part of his tinkering. He put together that game, created that game in the garage.
I wish I could show you a picture of our garage. I mean, you have all kinds of electronics pieces, you know, capacitors sitting around, PDP-11. We had a TRS Model 80, several, you know, different VIC-20s. I've seen pretty much every type of computer known to man throughout the 70s and 80s inside of our garage.
After coming up with a concept of an arcade game like Atari's, he soon developed Demolition Derby, his own personal coin-operated arcade machine running off of a microprocessor, literally the first of its kind. So you all have this man to thank for the arcades of the 80s and 90s taking away your allowance. Do arcades even exist anymore? But there was also a coin defeat mode in case you didn't have any cash, and so that the local kids wouldn't steal coins from the machine. Something that Lawson witnessed happen to one of the Atari cabinets he saw in Sunnyvale. Well, like with any good project, word got around fast and soon reached the heads of Fairchild, who would approach Lawson with a task. Fairchild was in production of creating a home video game console with another company, Alpax. Because they had heard about the Demolition Derby game, they thought he could be the man to lead the home console project. So Lawson would soon develop a prototype of a home console system and present it to the heads at Fairchild. Jerry Lawson was soon given the budget and his own division to tackle this project. From his experience developing military projects, he would carry over a mindset of developing commercial consumer products. Military was good training for consumer products because consumer products actually have to be stronger than military. Unlike products in the military which require training and special use, consumers aren't trained to use these things. They're inexperienced, rough with these products, and will ultimately break them. Probably pretty easily too. I mean, think about it. How many of you out there have cracked your screen by being too careless or rough with your smartphone? Over at Alpax, two engineers, Wallace Kishner and Lawrence Haskell, had the idea of trying removable media for the console. Prior to this, any game console or device that you purchased came with preloaded software. And that was it. If you wanted something like a new game to play, you'd have to purchase new hardware entirely. They approached Lawson and his team with this idea where they would come up with a few prototypes for removable media, before finally landing on this. These yellow box-like things contain within it various different software programs, able to be removed whenever you decide you want to play something else. Yeah, these were the first video game cartridges. This changed the game. Fairchild was known more for their horrible support instructions on their products than for their products themselves. With Lawson's mentality of developing simple-to-use consumer devices, this made it easy to operate without the need for convoluted instructions. Hook up the console, insert the cartridge, and when you want to play something else, power it down and put in a different cartridge. So simple and easy, anyone can do it, including myself.
This facility will self-destruct in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3,
Yeah, I think I did it right.
1.
And with that, the final design was finished, and the product went live.
Channel F, the one with all the fun. The Fairchild Video Entertainment System at your larger JCPenney. The home entertainment system that never gets old. Plug in a new video cart and change the fun. Play tic-tac-toe, shooting gallery, or just doodle. Switch video carts and play Desert Fox. Switch again, it's blackjack. Or play the two built-in games, Pro Hockey or Tennis Champ. Channel F for fun. The Fairchild Video Entertainment System. Just $169.95. Video cart cartridges, $19.95 each. At your larger JCPenney.
Well, alright, better get one for pre-order. Damn it, now I gotta buy one from eBay.
The Fairchild Channel F, or Channel Fun, was revealed at the Consumer Electronics Show of June 1976, and released in American retail stores November of that year for the holiday season. The first ROM cartridge-based video game console was running the Fairchild F8 microprocessor. It was the first console to feature AI enemies and had a joystick controller which someone on the internet has dubbed the Snickers bar. Well, Lawson helped develop that as well, as he designed the original prototype for the controller. All in all, this console was revolutionary and was a feat of engineering and ingenuity. However, the sales for the console wouldn't show it. The Channel F was sluggish sales-wise, and its marketing was just abysmal. It was released for about $169.95, which by today's inflation would cost about $777.26, with the games costing $19.95 or $91.24. Yeah, that's right, these cost more than a retail PS5 and a AAA title to go with it. So the price point wasn't doing it much of a favor, and unfortunately the Channel F wouldn't have a second to recover, as there was a new challenger on the horizon.
Attention shoppers, the new Atari cartridge game is in.
Excuse me. Uh-oh. Yours again. Ooh, Atari's ASCII battle.
It comes with 27 games, but that's just for starters. You can get 9 cartridges, 187 games.
Blackjack. Oh!
I'd like an Atari.
Sorry, only our demonstrators left.
Mine!
No, George. Mine.
The new video computer system by Atari. More games, more fun.
The Atari Video Computer System, or better known as the Atari 2600, was the final nail in the coffin for the Channel F. Atari, funny enough, took Lawson's philosophy of the importance of cartridge software as a key to its success. The Channel F was deemed a failure by Fairchild, and Lawson would soon leave Fairchild as their employee. However, Lawson wasn't finished with video game development as he decided to take his skills and become an entrepreneur. Lawson founded the company Videosoft, a third-party developer for Atari, CBS, Mattel, etc. While running Videosoft, Lawson would develop a few titles for the Atari consoles, however, only one would be released. Color Bar Generator. I mean, it does the job. I can't say anything negative about it. It was around this point that Lawson began to have a disinterest in the direction video games were heading. They were becoming more and more about violence and entertaining the consumer, and less about teaching and educating them on skills for anything of use. However, shortly after that, the video game industry would crash. Now, what caused the industry crash was a surplus of poor quality titles and an oversaturation of the medium, aka too many cartridges with games in them. In a way, it's quite ironic that the overabundance of cartridges, the very thing that Lawson helped develop, and the terrible quality software, something which Lawson was concerned over, were the reasons for the collapse of the video game market. Sadly, Lawson would retire from video game development and closed down Videosoft in 1984. So what happened to the video game industry and Jerry Lawson? The release of the Nintendo Entertainment System would reignite the spark of the video game industry, nearly single-handedly bringing back the industry from the brink of death. And you can bet that the main way the games were inserted into the console were in the form of video game cartridges, which were still a popular medium in the industry. Sega and other competitors would adopt them as well, and as time would move forward, so too would the industry, looking to expand what could be done from the cartridge format, and moving towards more versatile disc. But there is still a holdout. So what about Jerry Lawson? Well, after the video game market crashed, Lawson, who was praised for his engineering skills and quick problem solving, was soon forgotten by the video game industry as a whole. And then one day, someone purchased an Atari Color Bar Generator from a vintage collector, and someone was curious as to why this person was buying that specific game. The following video explains why.
My name is Jerry Lawson. I'm originally from New York City, born and raised. Been in California since 1968. In the early 70s, I was involved in the development of one of the first computer programmable home video games. It's called Fairchild Channel F. We used a microchip, which was produced by Fairchild Semiconductor, who employed me to produce a programmable video game. The process required use of cartridges. Each game cartridge or games were put into a cartridge. We produced up to about 21 cartridges, some of which were a little unique in the market today. One was a chess game, footwork and blackjack game. We built the first precursor game to Pac-Man, which actually was a maze, self-generating and computing maze that went through to try to get from one side to the other. The game predates Atari by a year. Atari came out with their 2600, and we were 1 year ahead of them. We produced the games for about 3 to 4 years. We were not a success in the marketplace as much as the 2600. Although some features of our game, Channel F, we also produced the first cable video game, where we used cable television to download a library of different games that you could select at home and play. We also produced the first TV game system that was played on broadcast television. It was called TV POW. And what the idea was, people would be called at home, and on their TV set would watch the game, and it was a shooting game. And when they wanted to fire at the target that was moving, they would have to go say the word POW. When they went POW, the projector would fire from the game in the studio and hit the target. And the best of my knowledge, it was the first and practically the only game that was ever built to be used on broadcast television. I continued on afterwards on my own and started a company called Videosoft, where we produced cartridges for the Atari 2600 system, one of which was called Color Bar Generator, which was actually a piece of test equipment done in software. You plugged it into the 2600 and it would put a NTSC color pattern up that you could adjust your TV for the proper color. Also with sound and horizontal, what have you. We also made several other games, a three-dimensional game that we did never release to the public. It used the analytic red and blue glasses for three dimensions. Right now, I'm kind of semi-retired. I enjoy coming to these shows to talk to people, and that's about all I can talk about right now. What's that?
Both this video of Jerry Lawson as well as a later interview of him were shared and eventually reached a man named Joseph Salter, who was the chairperson for the International Game Developers Association Diversity Board and a committee member for Microsoft's Blacks in Gaming group. Salter, who had been in this position for nearly 7 years now, never heard of Jerry Lawson at all, and once he found out and read his story, nearly cried. The moment I found this article, I began to cry. I was overwhelmed with a gratitude and respect, yet dismayed by the unjustified omission of Jerry Lawson from the history of our incredible industry. I am ashamed of myself, the chairman of the International Game Developers Association Diversity Advisory Board, as well I sit on the steering committee for Microsoft's Blacks in Gaming group. 7 years in this position, and not once did I hear about Jerry. For sure, we will be contacting him for the Game Developers Conference Minority Special Interest Group to honor him. He is a true treasure to all in the video game industry. Thank you so much for your article. Peace. Joe Salter. Salter had set out to correct the wrong that the industry had done by overshadowing Lawson's accomplishments, and on the day of March 4th, 2011, Jerry Lawson, the man whose engineering and ingenuity had pioneered the way for all consoles and games that we play today, was finally honored and given recognition for his achievements, 27 years later, at the age of 70. Like with many things, time had taken its toll on Lawson. The father of video games was in poor health, having lost a leg and an eye to diabetes. However, despite all the adversity and challenges Lawson has faced, he still remained the same intelligent man that he was back in his youth. He held no animosity towards the industry, and was happy to tell his story, and was grateful for the recognition of his accomplishments over the years. Sadly, a month later on April 9, 2011, Jerry Lawson would pass away in Mountain View, California, from complications with diabetes, survived by his wife Catherine Lawson, and their 2 children Karen and Anderson Lawson. In 2018, the San Francisco Game Developers Conference announced the Jerry A. Lawson Award for Achievement in Game Development. The award is meant to highlight the accomplishments of a person who identifies as an underrepresented minority in the game development community, with the 2019 award being received to Sierra McDonald, the Principal Program Manager for Xbox Advanced Tech Group, aka Project Scarlet, and the 2020 award presented to Laura Teclamariam, who is responsible for product management at Warner Bros. Games for titles like Harry Potter, Wizards Unite, and DC Legends. Today, Jerry Lawson's documents related to the Fairchild Channel F can be found at the Strong National Museum of Play in Rochester, New York, along with a bunch of other development documents and prototypes of the Fairchild Channel F, and a copy of Color Bar Generator for the Atari 2600. Gerald A. Lawson and his team pioneered the video game industry into what it is today. Whether you see that as a good thing or a bad thing, you can't deny that Lawson and the innovation of the Channel F team led to the hobby that many of us grew up doing. Without their contributions, who knows where the industry would be today? It's kind of funny that the nearly forgotten father of modern video games, the entrepreneur of a small development company, the leader of the Channel F console development team, was just doing what he loved to do, tinker. And it all started with a teenager building a ham radio in his apartment in Queens.
So yeah, that's the history of Gerald A. Lawson, the man who literally changed the game. Nearly forgotten by the industry that he helped build, needless to say that his recognition was well-deserved and long overdue. I think Jerry Lawson's story says something about the gaming industry as a whole. It doesn't matter where you come from, who you are. A gamer isn't one type of person. They can be anybody. Black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Indian, Jewish, boy, girl, LGBTQ+. Anyone can be a gamer. Anyone can be anything they want to be. Anyone can do anything that they want to do. As a gamer, a creator, and an African American man, I see Mr. Lawson's story as something inspirational. At a time where the black community really didn't have a choice in terms of pathways, Lawson was somebody who forged his own path. No matter what people told him that he could or couldn't do, he persevered and proved them all wrong. Gerald A. Lawson was many things. An engineer, an innovator, a gamer, a husband, a father. And more than anything, he was a leader. Something that the black community has in spades. And don't ever let 1 month a year ever stop you from celebrating who you are and your history and heritage. My name is Malik J. Johnson. I'm a content creator, and I celebrate my black history and heritage.
Hello, my name is Brianna Stanley, and I'm a black business owner, and I choose to celebrate Black History Month and my heritage by choosing to push for greatness. Thank you.
Hey, what's up, everybody? My name is George Collins. I am a comedian and podcaster out of Las Vegas, Nevada. Happy Black History Month, everyone. I like to celebrate my black heritage by leading by example. I'm living my dream. Just overall, I'm trying not to be a menace to society. And I'm trying to give my younger siblings and nephews and nieces someone they can look up to that looks like them. And it might not seem like much, but that's what I do. Because I'm a comedian, I'm a neutral party, so I try to find out both sides of the story. And I think you'll enjoy that. The show is called The Hooms Podcast, as you can find on Apple, Spotify, Google Podcasts, all platforms where you can listen to podcasts. And I hope to see you there. Please have a conversation with me on Instagram at regular_George. Thank you, MJ, for having me. I appreciate this opportunity. Please bless my mans with a like and subscription on his videos. I mean, he works really hard in these videos, way harder than I do on my podcast. I just talk, man. But hope to see y'all later. Peace.
Hi everyone, my name is E. I'm a black creator from the East Coast who draws fun stories, characters, and fan art. And I celebrate my black history and heritage. Happy Black History Month.
Hey, what up, fam? What's good? I'm DJ. I'm a content creator of many hats and many names. I do TTRPG, nerd culture, and video game content on my main channel, Tankbox TV. And I do some screaming, some rapping, some singing, and whatever else tickles my fancy musically under the channel The Wolf You Fed. And all day, every day, through every action, loudly, proudly, and unapologetically, I celebrate my black history and heritage. Deuce.
This is It Me, voice actress, writer, editor, producer, and creator of Inkgo, a sci-fi podcast about people in space. And I celebrate my black history and heritage.
Hello, my name is Drew, otherwise known as Ace of Octagons, and I'm a content creator. What that entails is I make YouTube videos, TikTok videos, take photos, edit, and pretty much do all my own stuff. Growing up, I saw a lot of guys on YouTube like Rocket Jump and others that did all kinds of special effects and stuff like that, but I never saw anyone of my color doing it. And so then that's what I wanted to grow up and do was, make a living off of it, hopefully, of, doing the things that I love. I think as a black person, it's important for us to look at our worth and perhaps pave our own way, And it makes me really proud that there's more of us out here now doing all kinds of high-skilled videos and stuff like that, like myself and MJ. Thanks, and happy Black History Month.
What's going on, guys? It's the Black Luffy here, and/or Dorian. Yeah, people just call me Luffy. I am a streamer. I am 28, just turned 28. And basically what I do, I'm a streamer and a digital artist. For Black History Month, or the way that I celebrate, is usually by doing two things. I like to do a lot of different art. For Black History Month, I did this a while ago. I was preparing for this month. I did this. This is my most recent piece. I did Huey Freeman. I just try to do more so art like this to let people know that there is beauty in the shades that we are, regardless of what we are. I like to look up different type of Black history, like documentaries about things that we have done, what we may have not done, because there's a lot about us that we just don't know about, and it's unfortunate. But, yep, this is me. I hope this is a good video. This is like my 5th recording of this. But, yep, happy Black History Month.
Hi, guys. I'm Tevin, also known as Okami-kun Cosplay on Instagram. And as you can see, I'm a cosplayer. I portray different characters that people wouldn't normally portray, like Sub-Zero, Reaper, Red Hood. Black History Month is honestly a very important month for, of course, for obvious reasons, but I do technically have a very important lineage from my hometown of Albany, Georgia, which was a big hotspot for the civil rights movement. And my father, grandparents, they all were big fighters in the civil rights movement. And my dad, my biological dad, went on to be a state representative for Albany, Georgia. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Happy Black History Month.
Hi, my name is Altered Nexus. I am a disabled gamer, a vlogger, and lover of peace. And I am celebrating my Black heritage.
Hey everyone, my name is Erica and I am owner of Pure Bliss LLC. And underneath Pure Bliss LLC, I have 3 businesses. I specialize in natural handmade wellness, bath and body products, custom items dealing with trays, wine glasses, coasters, t-shirts, things of that nature. I make and sell templates off Etsy for business cards, baby showers, flyers, things of that nature. And I just want to thank you for allowing me to be a part of this because I love, embrace, and celebrate my Black heritage. Thank you.
Hi, my name is Lauren, aka Chronic Tonic, and I'm a web designer, game dev, and artist, as well as the creator of Wannabe Hero. Oftentimes, it feels like it can be a political statement just to exist as I am, and therefore I celebrate my Black history by making worlds of characters that can help reflect the multifaceted experience that is being Black.
Hey everyone, I'm JB. I'm a video creator, podcaster, and graphic designer, and I am celebrating my Black history and my heritage.
My name's Kara Hillstock. I'm a narrative designer for games and a variety streamer on Twitch, and I celebrate my Black and German history and heritage.
Hi, my name is Phoenix, and I'm a mask, prop, and costume maker, and I celebrate my Black history and heritage.
Hey, how's it going? My name's Trey Watson. I am a YouTuber. I make anime, video game, and other original covers. Feel free to check me out over on any social media at Trey Watson Music. And I celebrate my heritage as a Black content creator.
Hello, my name is Brian Gatewood, or GateKid3 on all my social media, and I celebrate my Black culture and heritage. I do pixel art and animation like some of the stuff I made for this channel. I want to see more Black faces in media, and I'm going to contribute to that.
Hey guys, thanks for watching another episode of RatedMJ. Until next time, see you later.